This newsreel is being brought to you by The Depot, Big City Dining in downtown Springfield. With special effects right out of a Spielberg film, firefighters from near and far were drawn in for some very realistic training that was designed to do two things: teach them how to put out fires and keep them alive. It's interesting that what is terrifying to one person is actually fun for another. And that is certainly what we have here with these firefighters who have gone out of their way to receive some training in an area that I think most of us would be willing to avoid. But that's what they do for a living, and training is all part of the process. The design and creation of the firefighting school literally comes from the idea of pulling something positive out of the tragic death of a local firefighter, Lieutenant Brad Hutcherson. Brad Hutcherson was killed in a tragic auto accident some years ago, and it was one of his friends that came up with the idea of starting the school. In his own words, he wanted to bring something positive out of his friend's death.
This is the 6th annual Lieutenant Brad Hutcherson Memorial Fire School, a training event that came together 6 years ago after Brad passed away in a car wreck. It's all about giving back, remembering Brad for what he did for the community, and just trying to pass on his attitude and love for the job and training to any firefighters and emergency personnel that want to attend.
Being a firefighter is inherently a dangerous job, and firefighters lose their lives all the time doing it. What was it about his death that triggered a school?
Well, I guess for me, I had known Brad when he was a young boy, when his dad was a firefighter here in Robertson County at the old county fire department that was down by the fairgrounds. So I watched him grow up there, come into the fire service himself, and then at his specific wreck, I was also one of the responders to that crash. So just knowing the tragedy of the event, how it affected his fire department, how it affected his dad, and knowing that he was just a young man that was passionate about the job, I said, we got to make a positive out of this negative. So I thought of this school. In fact, during his funeral service, I was sitting there in it and said, we got to make a wrong, into a right, or at least try to. So that's how it all evolved.
See, this year is our 6th year, and how it really got started was Captain Nims had a memorial for Brad, brought in some instructors and all just to have a training day, because Brad was big on training, and that was one of his big things. And so that's how the school really got involved. Had a lot of people who said, hey, you ought to do this every year. So then, we formed a board and everything, and it's evolved from there year after year. Just gets a little bigger each year.
I can only assume that this event is in some ways bittersweet for you, with your son's memory being such a big part of it. It's certainly a very positive event, and I'm sure your son would be very proud. Can you tell me, where does it put you emotionally?
Well, it's it's tough, but I know it's something that he would be proud of, and especially with the instructors we bring in. I mean, they're top-notch instructors. Like this year we picked up Chief Pat Nichols from Boston Fire Department and Captain Jim Payne from Baltimore, and Lieutenant Gregory and them from New York Fire Department. So we've got probably the best of the best instructors, and we try to provide some of the training that you couldn't normally get around here. And it's a brotherhood thing, and it's all about passing on what you know and the tradition. And the brotherhood's a big thing. Everybody comes together, and has a good time and all, and that's what Brad was about.
Do you think your son would have enjoyed being here?
Oh, I know he would.
As you can see, the class draws them in from near and far. The class is held just once a year. It's held in Coopertown, Tennessee, right here in Robertson County. They hold it at the Coopertown Middle School. If you're a firefighter and you'd like to attend the school, we'll provide the links below the video if you're on our main website. But hold on to your hats. The price is quite shocking. The full day of training with experts from all over the region, along with some really fantastic food, is going to cost you $25. So bang for the buck would be a little difficult to beat. $25 for a full day of training anywhere for anything is rather unheard of these days. They also managed to attract some really great vendors this year with everything under the sun you could ever possibly imagine for sale if you were going to be a firefighter. You name it, they had it. Everything from protective outerwear and headgear, special lighting, extrication equipment, air tanks, virtually everything you would ever possibly need as a firefighter they had for sale there. If you'd like to see the school from a slightly different angle, Smokey covered the event last year as well, and we managed to capture some of the interesting extrication procedures that they did, and so you may want to watch that video. We will certainly post it below. If you're watching this video on our main website, then simply scroll down and it'll be there for you. If you're watching this on YouTube, then simply wait for the commercial to end and a link will appear on your screen that will take you to that video. This has been Jim Ball reporting for Smoky Barn News in Coopertown.
I like to go ha, 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 ha. I like to go hee, 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 hee. We have a lot of fun, my mouth and me.
I like to go. I like to go. I like to go.
Big City Dining in Springfield. Depot Bar and Grill.